La-dum, da-da-dum, ba-dum-dum, la-da-da-da-da-da-dee.
Cinderella saves Disney. The film is released on February 15th, 1950, and it earns $7.8 million during its initial release, the studio's biggest hit since Snow White. It's not as technically revolutionary as Fantasia or as emotionally raw as Bambi, but it does something more important. It proves that Disney can still make a film that connects with a mass audience. The revenue from Cinderella stabilizes the company's finances and gives Walt the breathing room he needs to think about what comes next. And what comes next is not another animated film. What comes next is a strategic transformation. 3 moves executed between 1953 and 1957 that turned the Walt Disney Company from an animation studio into something entirely different, something much bigger. The first move is distribution. Since the company's founding, Disney has relied on outside distributors to get its films into theaters. First Margaret Winkler, then Pat Powers, then Columbia Pictures, then United Artists, then RKO Radio Pictures. Every one of these relationships has been a source of frustration. Distributors take a significant cut of the revenue. They control the marketing. They decide which theaters get the films and when. And the Oswald disaster taught Walt that depending on someone else for access to the market puts your entire business at risk. If the distributor decides to squeeze you, you're squeezed. In 1953, Walt and Roy make a decision that terrifies the rest of the industry. They create Buena Vista Distribution Company. Disney will distribute its own films. No middleman, no revenue share with a third party. They'll handle theatrical distribution themselves, maintaining control over how their films are marketed, priced, and exhibited. It's a risky move. Building a distribution operation from scratch is expensive, and the major studios have distribution networks that took decades to build. But Roy's financial discipline makes it work. Buena Vista doesn't just save the company money, it gives Walt something he values even more than money: control. The second move is television.
So you see, this is the result of being a good boy for 30 years. Santa finally came across. See the little throttle in there? See that thing there? This up here, this is the,
Mr. Disney, you want it on the telephone.
Oh, thanks, honey.
In the early 1950s, the major Hollywood studios viewed television as the enemy. TV is stealing audiences from movie theaters. The studios refuse to sell content to the networks, refuse to let their stars appear on television, refuse to engage with the medium at all. They're fighting a losing war against a technological revolution, and they don't understand that the way to survive a revolution is to join it. Walt understands it immediately. In 1954, he strikes a deal with ABC, the weakest of the 3 television networks.
The preceding program, originally telecast by ABC in New York, has come to you by special video recording.
To produce a weekly series called Disneyland.
Walt Disney's Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
The show is a mix of behind-the-scenes studio content, nature documentaries, animated shorts, and promotional material for Walt's various projects. In exchange for the show, ABC invests $500,000 directly in a project that Walt has been dreaming about for over a decade, a theme park. The Disneyland television show is, among other things, a weekly commercial for the Disneyland theme park. Walt is using the television network to advertise a product that doesn't exist yet and using the network's money to build it. It's brilliant. It's synergistic in a way that the entertainment industry has never seen before. The TV show promotes the park promotes the films generate characters that become merchandise, the merchandise generates revenue that funds more films. The flywheel that started with $300 for pencil tablets is now spinning at industrial scale. The third move is the park itself. Walt Disney has been thinking about a theme park since at least the early 1940s. The idea originates, like so much else, in his personality. He's a father who takes his daughters to amusement parks on weekends and finds them disappointing. They're dirty, they're disorganized, the rides are shabby, the food is bad, the employees are surly. Walt looks at these places and thinks, I can do this better. His original concept is modest, a small park near the Burbank studio, maybe a few rides and attractions themed to Disney characters, but the vision grows. By the early 1950s, Walt is planning something that nobody in the entertainment industry has ever attempted, a fully themed, immersive experience where every detail, every building, every sign, every costume, every trash can is designed to create a coherent world, not an amusement park, a theme park. The distinction matters enormously. Amusement parks are collections of rides. A theme park is a place, a world, a story you walk into. Walt buys 160 acres of orange groves in Anaheim, California, about 35 miles southeast of the Burbank studio. The total cost of the land and construction is approximately $17 million, funded by the ABC investment, a loan from the Bank of America, and Walt's personal resources. The park is organized around a central concept. You enter through Main Street, USA, a recreation of a turn-of-the-century American small town that is, unmistakably, Walt's memory of Marceline, Missouri. And from there, you can explore 4 themed lands: Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. The opening day is July 17th, 1955.
Open the Fantasyland Castle in the name of the children of the world.
It's a Sunday. ABC is broadcasting the event live, with Ronald Reagan, Art Linkletter, and Bob Cummings hosting. 15,000 people have been invited: studio workers, construction crews, press, and dignitaries. It should be a triumph. It's a catastrophe. Counterfeit tickets flood the market, and 28,000 people show up instead of 15,000. The Santa Ana Freeway backs up for 7 miles. Temperatures in Anaheim hit 101 degrees Fahrenheit. The freshly poured asphalt on Main Street is still soft in the heat, and women wearing high-heeled shoes sink into the blacktop. Some have to step out of their shoes to keep walking. A plumber's strike during construction forced Walt to choose between installing working drinking fountains or working toilets. He chose toilets. On the hottest day of the year, there is no drinking water in the park. Restaurants run out of food and drinks within hours. Multiple rides break down. The Rocket to the Moon, Peter Pan's Flight, and Dumbo the Flying Elephant are all closed. A tiger and a panther in a circus parade break loose on Main Street. Nearly all 36 cars on the Autopia are wrecked by aggressive drivers crashing into each other. A gas leak in Tomorrowland forces the fire chief to close the entire area. Park employees will later call it Black Sunday. The press coverage is brutal. Newspapers describe the chaos, the overcrowding, the breakdowns. The industry consensus is that Walt Disney has made an expensive mistake. The theme park idea was charming in theory and a disaster in practice. But here's the thing about Walt Disney. He doesn't care about opening day. He cares about day 2 and day 3 and day 300. He fixes the problems. He makes the park better. Within 2 weeks, Disneyland is averaging more than 20,000 visitors per day. By the end of its first year, the park welcomes 3.6 million visitors. Within 5 years, it's the most visited attraction in the United States. Disneyland changes the entertainment industry permanently. Before Disney, there is no such thing as a theme park. The concept doesn't exist. After Disney, the entire leisure and tourism industry reorganizes around the model Walt created: Universal, Six Flags, SeaWorld. They're all responding to what Disney built. The themed restaurant industry, the branded retail experience, the concept of immersive entertainment, all of it traces back to 160 acres of orange groves in Anaheim. On November 12, 1957, the Walt Disney Company lists on the New York Stock Exchange. The opening price is $13.88 per share. Mary Poppins comes out in 1964, and it's the culmination of everything Walt Disney has been building toward for 40 years. It's a live-action animation hybrid that blends real actors with animated sequences so seamlessly that it feels effortless, even though the production was anything but. Julie Andrews, in her film debut, delivers a performance performance so charming and so precise that she wins the Academy Award for Best Actress. The film earns over $100 million and receives 13 Oscar nominations, winning 5. It's the biggest hit of Disney's career and arguably the best film the studio ever produces. But Walt's mind is already somewhere else. He's thinking about Florida. The Disney World project, Walt calls it the Florida project in the early stages because secrecy is essential, is the most ambitious thing Walt has ever conceived. And that's saying something because Walt Disney has already built a theme park from scratch and invented an entire category of entertainment. But this isn't a theme park, it's a city. EPCOT, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, is Walt's true final vision, not a tourist attraction, not a bigger version of Disneyland, a functioning city where people actually live and work, a community built on the latest technology, constantly evolving, constantly improving, a permanent World's Fair where industry and government collaborate to solve urban problems. Walt envisions automated transportation, climate-controlled walkways, residential areas surrounded by green space, and an industrial park where companies test new technologies in real-world conditions. It's utopian, it's wildly ambitious, and it's deeply personal. Walt Disney, the man who couldn't control a broken furnace, wants to build a city where everything works.
EPCOT will take its cue from the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging from the creative centers of American industry. It will be a community of tomorrow that will never be completed, but will always be introducing and testing and demonstrating new materials and new systems.
To make it happen, Walt needs land, a lot of land, and he needs it cheap, which means he can't let anyone know that Walt Disney is buying it. If his name gets attached to the land purchases, prices will skyrocket overnight. Disney sets up a network of shell companies, phantom corporations with innocuous names, and begins quietly buying up land in central Florida near Orlando. The parcels are purchased individually through different buyers at different times to avoid drawing attention. By the time the press figures out what's happening, Disney has acquired approximately 27,400 acres, roughly 43 square miles of Florida swampland and orange groves. It's twice the size of Manhattan. On November 15, 1965, Walt and Roy hold a press conference in Orlando to officially announce the project. The governor of Florida is there.
Walt Disney, who will bring a new world of entertainment, pleasure, and economic development to the state of Florida. Walt Disney. Thank you, Governor.
The state legislature, eager for the economic development, will eventually grant Disney unprecedented autonomy over the land through the Reedy Creek Improvement District, essentially a self-governing municipality controlled by Disney that has authority over zoning, building codes, utilities, and even its own fire department. It's the most extraordinary grant of corporate self-governance in American history, and it will become a political flashpoint 6 decades later. But Walt won't live to see any of it. In late 1966, Walt's health is failing. He's been a heavy smoker for most of his adult life. Cigarettes are a constant presence in photographs of Walt from the 1930s through the 1960s, though the Disney publicity machine works hard to keep them out of official images. In November 1966, a routine checkup reveals a tumor in his left lung. Surgery follows. The surgeon tells the family that the cancer has spread. Walt has between 6 months and 2 years to live. He's treated with cobalt therapy. He continues working. On November 30th, he goes back to the hospital. He's weakening. The medication is heavy, but his mind is still on the Florida project. On December 14th, 1966, the day before he dies, Walt lies in his hospital bed at St. Joseph Hospital in Burbank, across the street from the Disney studio, and discusses the Florida project with Roy. He can't get up, he can barely move, but he can point at the ceiling. The acoustic tiles on the hospital room ceiling become his map. He traces the layout of the park with his finger, pointing to different tiles and describing what should go where. At one point he says, "That's where we'll put a bench so that Lily and I can sit and see all the happy people coming in." On December 15th, 1966, at 9:35 in the morning, Walter Elias Disney dies of acute circulatory collapse caused by lung cancer. He's 65 years old. A small private funeral is held the next day at Forest Lawn Memorial Park. His remains are cremated. No public memorial is held. Walt, who spent his life creating spectacles, is laid to rest in silence. Roy Oliver Disney is 73 years old. He spent the last 43 years managing the money, negotiating the deals, absorbing the stress, and keeping the lights on while his younger brother dreamed impossible things into existence.
And the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place.
He's earned his retirement. He's planning to step away. He doesn't. Roy postpones his retirement and takes personal command of the Florida project. He's doing it for Walt. The project is redesigned. The EPCOT city concept is shelved because nobody at the company has the visionary ambition to build what Walt envisioned without Walt there to drive it. Instead, the focus shifts to what the company knows how to build: a theme park, a bigger, more ambitious version of Disneyland set on that vast Florida acreage. Roy makes one decision that says everything about who he is and what this project means to him. The project has been called Disney World. Roy changes it to Walt Disney World. When someone at the company questions whether the name change is necessary, Roy's response is immediate. Everyone's going to know it's Disney, but I want them to know which Disney. 5 years after Walt's death, on October 1st, 1971, Walt Disney World opens. It cost $400 million to build, all without taking on additional debt, a financial achievement that is entirely Roy's. The Magic Kingdom alone covers 107 acres. It's the largest private construction project in the United States at the time. The official dedication ceremony is held on October 25th. Roy stands before 5,000 performers, thousands of guests, and a massive marching band of 1,076 musicians. But before he begins his speech, he stops. He looks around. Something is missing. Disney legend John Hench later described the moment. Roy turned to the people around him and said quietly, "Somebody go find Mickey for me. We don't have Walt anymore, and Mickey is the nearest thing to Walt that we have left." They bring Mickey. Roy takes the podium with Mickey Mouse standing at his side and reads the dedication that remains on a plaque in the park to this day. Walt Disney World is a tribute to the philosophy and life of Walter Elias Disney and to the talents, the dedication, and the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place, a magic kingdom where the young at heart of all ages can laugh and play and learn together. On December 20th, 1971, exactly 5 years and 5 days after Walt's death, Roy Oliver Disney dies of a cerebral hemorrhage at the age of 78. He survived his brother by just over 5 years. He lived long enough to finish the job. He didn't live a day longer. In what comes next, the company that two brothers built enters its darkest period. The men who replace Walt and Roy have no idea what to do with the empire they've inherited. For 20 years, the question, what would Walt do, replaces actual leadership. The stock price drops, corporate raiders circle, and the nephew of the founder decides he's had enough.